and this like horrendous disfigurement turns out to be something that's useful to everybody, he's expected to just forget all of the horrible treatment because they're allowing him to be a productive member of society again. And that's what we all are supposed to want as members of the working class, is like the honor and the privilege of being allowed to be disrespected but yet allowed to work. So I know a lot of you may be saying, "Oh, that's reaching. It's just a fucking cartoon." But listen, that this is very important, especially when you get to the island of misfit toys. It's the same idea. He finally finds somewhere that he thinks he's going to fit in. Same with Hermie, right? So you've got your elf that's like that's very like, to me, very queer coded as a character. Um and he doesn't want to be an elf. He wants to be a dentist. So because he doesn't produce the way that is expected of him, the way he's supposed to, he once again is not given a chance to pursue that dream. He's not nurtured. He's not given any opportunity to get better, get any kind of research into that. They're just like, no, if you're not going to produce as an elf, which is what you were destined to do, then we don't want you here. You're just going to be a nuisance. So, and in the end, they realize that not only is Santa not providing anybody here with a dental plan, so they're going to need to figure out their union shit and get their dental, and who's going to be their dentist. I'm assuming that everyone there just lives on a diet of candy and snow, so their teeth must be fucking horrible. They've been needing a dentist for a while. Not to mention, as far as I remember, I'm pretty sure it's Hermie that pulls everyone's the abominable snowman, the Bumble's teeth all out. So that again, he's not seen as useful until it's in crisis, and then all of a sudden he's required, or like until I guess a new opportunity presents itself, and then all of a sudden they're invited back to participate. So, but it's like, why do we have to get to this moment of crisis or like massive upheaval for them to be accepted? It's kind of like a backwards story of acceptance and overcoming adversity in a way. It's sort of a little bit of a veiled, you're supposed to accept abuse because eventually people will be nice to you. You just have to wait it out. Sure they might make you fuck off into the wilderness for like a minute, but you know, that's just par for the course, I guess. And then when you've gone and figured out everything and had your character development and your soul searching, and then you're just supposed to come back and you know, do everything the way that you were expected to before. So with the very same people who, like, you know, very recently claimed they didn't want anything to do with you. So, but in a way it's nice because it shows like if you're true to yourself and you can find like-minded people in the world, like Rudolph and Hermie find each other. The Island of Misfit Toys gives Rudolph kind of a sense of like, well, as much as it's sort of like a double-sided thing, because like as much as it's great to find the other misfits in life that you can relate to, it's also not really fair that you are all outcast from society and have to go live in a completely separate place. I don't know why he didn't just stay with King Julian, honestly, that fucking flying lion dude. I'm pretty sure that was his name. I'm gonna look it up. I mean, that seemed like a pretty like that seemed like a pretty sick deal. I'm just gonna look it up. I don't know why I thought his name was Julian. His name is Moonracer. I don't know why I'm thinking it was Julian. Am I thinking of something? I'm thinking of something completely different, I think. Um, so the thing is, because the reason he can't live on the island, as far as I remember, is because he's not technically a toy. So he basically there is so just so you know, because there's a wiki for everything on the internet, there's a website called Fandom that has a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer wiki. In case you're curious about looking into this more, um, he's sorry, flying lion is technically known as a griffin in mythology. This griffin happens to be the ruler of the island of misfit toys, King Moonracer, and he flies around the earth looking for unwanted toys and takes them in. And so yes, that's the other thing. So like yes, he flies around looking for these misfit toys, and then basically like they become subjects in his monarchy. So I mean, is it really that great of a life? Like, I don't know, do they have to pay taxes to him? Like, do they have to, like bend the knee and shit in order to like be on the island? It's not really fully explained what King Moonracer's um political alignment is, but we're not really for monarchies around here. So, I want to say King Julian's from Madagascar. I don't know why I thought of Madagascar when I was thinking about that. He's not even close to it. Yeah, it is. It is. It's from fucking Madagascar. The first animal king I thought of, and I thought of a fucking, what is he, a lemur. It's not even close to a lion. I don't understand what's going on in my brain. Anyway, maybe that's where that came from. I'm like, I know it's from some cartoon and it's an animal, but that was not even it. Okay. So but yeah, let me go back to that article and finish. I'm fucking dying. This I do this like at least once every episode of completely misremember something, and then when I go to look it up, it's like the thing it actually was so off base. So sorry about that. Sorry about that confusion. So yeah, it's basically the reason that Rudolph, Hermie, and Cornelius get to the island of misfit toys, and Rudolph and Hermie want to stay there, but because they're not technically toys, he can't let them stay. Now my question is King Moonracer actually a toy? I don't fucking think so. So I really don't get how that works. But we're just gonna suspend that hypocritical disbelief for like a little bit, because it doesn't really say in the wiki. It says he is a winged lion, therefore not a toy, unless I'm missing something. So I don't like him and Rudolph are literally animals, so I don't understand why he would say that. Anyway, and also considering that Rudolph has a light up bulb on his nose, he's got some sort of electronic shit in his body. I think that kind of classifies him as some kind of a toy, possibly. But anyway, what they end up doing in the end is he gives them somewhere to stay for the night, and they promise that they will let Santa know about this island, and that people are rejecting toys because they're different or don't perform the way that they are wanted to or the way they're supposed to, and so they become neglected and shunned. And this is very much something that Santa Claus needs to have responsibility for. So that's something that in the end, there's a bit of a happier resolution for the toys on the island. But that's another thing I never really thought about, is that whole weird thing. It's like, just fucking let him live there. I don't understand. and then it sucks, because then it's like not even the island of misfit toys will accept me. Wow, I must really be a piece of shit. So that's a little sad. But it's again, we're gonna just there's some reaching potentially happening, and I know it's just a cartoon, but that's another thing I wanted to address. I also do enjoy that that there's no fat shaming. That's one of the positive notes of the movie. We see some nice thick boys and girls in Yukon Cornelius and Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Not so much at the end until the end with Santa Claus, obviously, because Santa is going through a bit of a stress induced eating disorder, and Mama Claus is constantly asking him to eat, and he won't do it. And then at the end, he finally gets the second win that he needs, the inspiration that he needs, and he tickens up again and becomes the fluffy Santa Claus that we know and love. So that's a nice part of the movie. We're encouraging healthy eating. We're encouraging bigger bodies. Um, which again is why it's so interesting that you know we're doing that, and then Santa's like fucking rejecting a reindeer because they're different, and it's like, bro, you are you live on a diet of milk and cookies and are a very large man. Like, why are like you need to not judge people based on how they look, okay? We're all accepting you, Santa Claus, so I don't know why you can't accept Rudolph. And then when you lost a bunch of weight and looked fucking anorexic, again, nobody judged you. They were just concerned about you. They just wanted you to eat some food. So, you know what? Santa's kind of a dick in this version of events. We're not a huge fan of Santa Claus in this one. Um, there's a lot of movies out there that sort of, deal with that, the whole idea that Santa is not the most jolly character that we know and love. Santa is seen in many things as like the sort of immortal, magical being, and has these powers and has this like very wholesome image, and you know they always pair him with a woman, like so like he's a wholesome married family man. um that doesn't exactly answer the question of where all the elves came from. Sort of like an Adam and Eve situation. Like, once you had the first couple, like who are they all supposed to marry and have subsequent elves with? So I'm starting to think that the whole Santa Claus and elves setup is like everything else with Christianity and like the monarchy, subject to a lot of inbreeding and inappropriate sexuality. Um, let's not get into that too much, though. I'm not going to overthink that one too much because that's going to make me upset and probably take me down a massive rabbit hole. I'll go and Google that one later. So that's Rudolph. Those are some of the criticisms, but some of the more positive things about the movie. But yeah, the songs undeniably amazing, and just like even back in the '60s, like for its time, it's just like a massive stop motion animation is always a very massive undertaking, but it was like very very groundbreaking for its time, and it's something that people will still use and reference to this day. So I think that um, that's it's a nice overall. It's a good message of overcoming um, the overcoming being oppressed and being misunderstood, and finding a way to prove to people that you have value. And that's really one of my favorite messages of anything. That's why I like It's a Wonderful Life so much. Like which again isn't a cartoon. I won't go into it too much right now. That'll be for another episode. Um, that's probably going to be like the Christmas episode. Um, I'll do like a live watch or something like that of It's a Wonderful Life. I feel like It's a Wonderful Life, because I love it so much, just needs to be its own episode, honestly. It's one of those movies that I watch every single year. So yeah, maybe we'll make that into its own separate episode. But just going off the theme of It's a Wonderful Life too, like just the impact